welcome to my weekly Shop My Stash. As a recap, this is what I used last week. I did have this Revolution highlighter. This is in the shade Platinum, and it's the Ingot highlighter. I didn't use this a whole lot. It was pretty. It has a slightly platinum white cast to it, which looks pretty on the skin, but right now, just because I still have a bit of a tan from summer, it's a bit too stark against my skin. So while it was nice and it wore nice, this is something that I will probably gravitate towards more in the winter time when, again, my tan has faded and it's not so stark against my skin. But it was a beautiful highlight. It just was a little bit too obvious for me this time of year. On the other hand, this Vintage by Liebeskind, Liebeskind, the Chocolate Diamond and Rose Quartz highlighter. This, I was reminded again how beautiful it is. It doesn't look like much in the pan, but my goodness, these look beautiful on the skin. They are just really lovely and beautiful. Again, really happy to have these and was excited to use them again this week, and this is what I gravitated towards for most of the week. Then on to blushes. I have by Becca, this is in the shade Foxglove, and it's this really pretty pink, and it just looks really nice on the skin, especially this time of year. It just gives that kind of flush that you've been out in the cold a little bit, but you know, fall cold, not winter cold. So it gives that kind of look, and it's just really nice on the cheeks. Has that little bit of a shine to it, so it just adds that extra glow and really pretty. Then I have this Too Faced one, and this is the Cherry Bomb, and this is what this one looks like. It's really pretty. Again, it gives that nice flush for fall. I really do like it. Let me get a better look this way. There we go. The highlighter in here is really dark. This is one that works better as a blush topper for the actual blush, and it just adds a really pretty sheen when you use it. I don't like swirling it together. I don't like the look it gave, but when I used the actual blush and then put the highlighter on top of the blush just lightly, it was really pretty. So this is one highlighter I wouldn't necessarily get a lot of use out of. It's just too stark and too gold for my liking. But again, on top of the blush, it added just a really pretty sheen, so that was nice. Finishing off our cheek stuff, I do have this palette here from Tarte. I forget what this was called. This is what it looks like. It does have a bronzer and a highlighter and then 3 cheek products. I didn't use the bronzer too much. It is a little bit too light for my skin tone right now. It is lovely throughout the rest of the year once again my tan has faded. This is a really pretty highlighter. I think I wore it once. I think I wore this shade once for the blush, not too often. It's a bit too I like this one more in the spring and summer, but these two blushes I did wear a few times. I especially liked wearing this one on my cheek and then this one just on like the edge of my apple, or on the apple of my cheek, and just kind of blending it into that. I found that was the nicest combination of the two, but I really do like these blushes. They are the Amazonian clay blushes, and I mean, I recommend them. I think if you can get a Tarte blush, the Amazonian clay blushes in a set like this, or their 10-pan palettes, not the super big books, but the smaller ones that they do, those are usually really good quality from my experience, and I really do enjoy Tarte blushes. Then on to eyeshadow palettes. I did have these 3 here. I have the Everchanging, can we see it? Everchanging palette by Focallure. And this is what it looked like, and I did have several looks with this. The first day I wore it, I put this brown in the crease and then this all over the lid, and then I kind of just blended it out with this as a transition. And it was okay, but I was having a hard time blending it, and my allergies were really acting up this week. My eyes were super watery, and by the end of the week I had a full-on cold, so that kind of added to it as well. So I'm not sure if I was just frustrated because my eyes were already getting itchy and stuff, but by the end, or partway through the day, I ended up wiping off my eye look on my lid, and I just went in with this shade here, and then I blended it out with this shade, and it was really pretty. The shimmers in here are beautiful. The other time I wore it, I put this in the crease, and I put this on the lid, and then I put this shade here, and I kind of blended it all out as a transition, and I really wanted that kind of fall grungy look. and it was okay, but I had such a hard time blending these matte shades. Again, for now, I'm going to keep it, and I'm just going to chalk it up to it was a bad week with eye makeup because of my eye situation that was going on. Then on to this palette. This is by I Heart Revolution. This is their Pink Fizz palette. And my false nails require me to use help opening this. So we'll just, there we go. And this is what this palette looks like. It is just a really soft palette. It's got this nice blue here, it has this purple here, has a bunch of pinks and some browns. You do have a matte brow bone color, you have a matte transition, and you have matte crease color. Nope, this is the crease color here. So I mean, it is kind of an all-in-one palette if you need those things, and then you can put whatever on the lid. Palette, it wore beautifully, no problem blending, no problem with the shadows lasting or anything. The quality is excellent in this. The last palette we have is by Stila. I call this the weapon because this thing is heavy. It is the Happy Hour palette, and this is just a beautiful cool tone palette. This is what it looks like, and it's got a bunch of glitters in there. You have your 4 mattes here, and then it has 3 shimmers, 5 glitters, and then 4 matte shades, and it's beautiful. The first day I wore it, I did use this in the crease, and then I used these 2 glitters, and I put this one on first, and then I added this one second just to lighten it up a bit, and it was just beautiful. I think I used this in my, I stick my finger in it, I used the black or charcoal shade in the outer corner just to deepen up a bit, and then I wore it another day, and I just put this in my crease and this on my lid, and it was just easy, but it was so pretty and beautiful. And I think that's one thing about this palette, is very easy, but you can get some really classy and beautiful looks out of it. So for my Shop My Stash this week, I am doing something a little bit different. If you've been here a while, you know that I usually use a random number generator. My palettes are all numbered, and I use the random number generator, and I pick a number from that, and I usually pick 3 palettes. However, my no buy, I fell off the wagon hard, and I came into some palettes, and so I like to use them all at least once before I put them into my collection, and I do have 10 sitting here now. I know, don't judge, I have a problem. But anyway, there's 10 palettes sitting here right now that I want to use at least one time before I put them in my collection and then get added to that rotation. So for this week at least, I may take a break next week and do what I normally do. This week at least, I have picked 5 palettes out of the 10 that I am going to go through instead of picking things randomly, just again so I have a chance to use them, so they're not sitting in my drawer waiting. I did put them into 2 stacks just so that they're not all similar in kind of the color stories that are going on with them. So I do have a stack here and I have a stack here. So this is the stack that I'm going to use this week. I will put this stack away that I have here. I will put it away so that I can use them next week or in a week, 2 weeks, whatever the case may be. Let me show you what I have here. Some of them I got in subscription boxes, and other things I just, you know, whatever, it happened. So I have by JCat Beauty the Extreme Access Pocket Shadows. It looks like this. You can see them pretty well through there, but we got some glitters, we got some nice fall colors in here, just a really pretty palette. So I got this in the Slay Glam bag. And then I went to Winners, and I already have the pineapple one, and for some reason I decided I needed this one as well. So this purple one is now in my collection. And then I have this one from Revolution Beauty. This is their popcorn palette. Again, the packaging, whatever. Not a fan of it, but it's better than that avocado one. But I just felt that this one would pair really nicely with the... I just felt that this one would pair really nicely with this Too Faced palette. So that's why I picked this one to go with it as well. Then I have a couple CColour cosmetic ones. This is the Cherry palette. This is a dupe for the Naked Cherry. And this smells really good. Like, if you remember when you were a kid having like strawberry shortcake toys, or depending on how old you are, really, I guess. But when I was a little girl, I remember having like strawberry shortcake little dolls, and they smelled like lemon or strawberries. And the smell of those reminds me, or the smell of this reminds me of those kind of toys from when I was little. This is also from CColour Cosmetics. It's the Frost palette, and this is what this one looks like. I believe this is supposed to be a dupe for a Kylie palette, but I'm not sure. So that's what I'm using this week as far as eyes go. I only plan on using them once, maybe twice, because they're 7 days in a week. So if I wear makeup every day, one of them or two of them will get used more than once. Otherwise, they will all get used once, but that is my goal with new palettes, is to use them at least once, and then I put them into the rotation. So that is that. But I still have to pick out some blush and highlighter, so we will do that now. Okay, so for blushes, I know there was one I really wanted to use. Where is it? Here we go. I really wanted to use this Milani one. It is the Fantastico Mauve. It's very similar to almost that Too Faced Cherry Bomb palette that I used last week, but it's a little bit more purple, so I want to use this one this week. And then let's pick out a neutral one. Decisions, Leah. Make a decision. Nope, not using that. You know what? I think I will. I'll use this sugar one that I got, I think, in Ipsy not too long ago. It's very neutral, so we will pull that one. Highlighters. Let's see. What should we pick? What haven't we used in a while? I even used these ones recently. You know what, I can't remember if I've used this one recently, but I'm going to use this Apple Cinnamon Heart because it's fall now. So this might end up being more of a blush, but we will try it as a highlighter. I can't remember how well it works. So we'll pull that as a highlighter, and then we'll pull one more for a highlight. Let's see. I think we'll pull this one. This is Opal by Becca, so we'll pull that one as well. And then I am going to pull one face palette. So this is the face palette drawer. I always have trouble picking out of this one, but let's see. I had been eyeing this one the other day because someone was talking about it, and I'm like, I haven't used that in a long time. And you know what? I think both these shades would work now. And maybe even this, so we will give this a try for this week as our face palette. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go over what we have again. This is one of the face palettes. It does have eyeshadows in here, but I'm going to ignore the eyeshadows this week because, again, I have enough of the other ones. But it does have these blushes, and then this is a bronzer, but I mean, it's very shimmery. I usually use that as the blush anyway, and they have the highlighter there. We have our Becca Opal. Then we have the I Heart Revolution Apple Cinnamon Heart. We have the Sugar, does it say what this is? Oh, the Sugar blush in Peachy Peak. I know some of these are hard to see with the lighting, I apologize. And then the Fantastico Mauve by Milani. And this is one of their baked blushes. And that is everything that I will be putting on my face as far as eyeshadows and blush and highlighter go. I know it's a little bit different than what I normally do, but again, I really just want to get these palettes. I want to use them at least once and get them into my collection so I can start rotating. Let me know in the comments below if you do shop my stash and what you are using this week. Do you just randomly pick things, or do you have a method to the madness, so to speak? Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.